What's good, everyone? Good morning. Hope everyone had a blessed fourth. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Y'all know what it is. This is another installment of the Black Man's Perspective. Um, of course, I have my panel with me. I have Coach 67 Sports TV. What's good? What's good, brother?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What's up, y'all? Peace, peace, peace.
And it's of course. Well, I was talking to Coach. Coach, can you hear me? I think you got a delay, brother.
I think his Wi-Fi
Yeah,
messed up.
yeah. I do have a little bit of a delay. Uh, yeah, Spectrum is kind of trash, but I can hear y'all. Glad to be in the building. Hopefully, y'all had a blessed forward for those individuals that celebrated. But all is well, and let's get it.
All right, and the general. 78 Sports TV. How's everything going, man? How was your fourth?
Man, it was cool, man. Just relaxed with the family. It was cool. Nothing too much. I didn't go nowhere. I just did a little something at the house, man. Relax, man, with the fam.
That's good, man. That's always good, man. I'm glad um, y'all was able to share relaxation and good time with your family. Um, what up, Mr. Shelton? Already in here supporting Shelton LDBC or nothing. What's good? Um, okay, we're gonna go into it, y'all. So with bigots and racists being bold with Trump in office. Um, I have run across stories um, about black men and women, but mostly black men being on their job and racist individuals purposely causing discord. Um, with Diddy on the trial or on trial, it just adds to their narrative of all black men being sexual deviants. For example, um, how can black men protect themselves on these jobs, the good ones?
Um,
Of course, I'm going to use 78. Go ahead.
I think protecting yourself in the workplace. Black people. For one thing, you gotta do is understand why you at work. Okay. We know the stigma of racism and the double standard in this country. We know all that. So when you at work, you there to do a job. These people paying you to do a job, and to you know. So when you going in there, your mentality gotta be, this is the job for 8 hours, for 10 hours, however long I'm here. I'm going to play a role, like a fucking actor. I'm gonna come in here, not let these people know my business. You ain't got no friends at the fucking job, okay? Just go up in there and do your job for 8 hours, play this role. Then when you leave up out there, you can be whoever you want, who you really are, and all that kind of stuff. But while you at work, um, try your best to stay out the workplace politics. In my opinion, who don't like who, and this person being mistreated. Because before you know it, it ain't got nothing to do with you, but you can just put yourself in something, worried about somebody else being mistreated or somebody else's business, and now you the one getting fired, and the person who did all the complaining gonna still be there. You see what I'm saying? So stay out of that kind of stuff. Also, document anything. That's how I was, at least. Whenever I felt like something was racist happening to me, I documented it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I documented, I wrote it down, and I made sure I went and complained about it. You know what I'm saying? To human resources or whatever. Made sure I made a report about it. You know what I mean? If I felt like something was was racist or disrespectful towards me or my race. So I definitely documented it so you can have that evidence, because whenever that's the reason why jobs write you up is so that they can have a paper trail when it's time to fire you. Right? That's why they write you up, or they want to have a paper trail when it comes, if you got perform performance issues, if you're getting a raise, that can affect your pay and all that kind of stuff, and they want to cover their tracks, so you should cover your tracks as well. You know what I mean? Which is why I would say document everything.
I agree, especially if you have an admin job, where you most of your job is documenting, especially if you're in management or higher management. Document, 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 document. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, Coach 67 Sports TV, especially you being a teacher, I know you definitely have a good answer how to protect yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, my experience as a teacher, like 14 years in education, I think is similar to other fields and other jobs, but it's a little bit different based on my personal experience. The reason being is because, in terms of schools, like the better schools are located in like white, suburban, like nice areas because essentially if a school is a good school, more often than not is in a predominantly white, like suburban, metropolitan type area. If a school is low performing school, often I'm talking about in Louisiana, it's predominantly black and it's either in an urban or a rural environment. And not only that, but in terms of school funding, it's based on like school performance. So your higher performing school typically get more federal funding, and your lower performing schools they usually don't get as much funding. So based on my personal experience, like in my 14 years of education, I've kind of worked across the board in terms of from a from an ethnic perspective. I've been to some culturally diverse schools. I've been some schools that's not as culturally diverse. The issue I've always run into when you're at the predominantly black school, you got to deal with the
You breaking up, Coach?
trigonometry in the
We hear you now.
classroom. You got low performing students, behavioral issues, single parent households, a lot of trauma, like field environments. Kids they don't have good conflict resolution skills. They lack effective communication skills. You know, female students being extremely masculine, boys being effeminate. And when I use feminine in this context, I don't mean like soft, weak, being able to get beat up. Like I'm gonna give you an example. That like there was this one student, he was like the toughest student in the grade level, but he didn't have like good conflict resolution skills. And somebody stepped on his foot and he wanted to beat him up. And I'm like, son, that's extremely like feminine. And he was like, what you mean? Dominant white
Coach, you breaking up bad, man.
environment.
Might have to leave out and come back in.
Yeah, Coach, leave out and come back in real fast. So I definitely want to hear his take being in the education because I didn't heard I got a lot of homeboys and homegirls that's in the education system, and I've heard the stories. Definitely heard the stories, so definitely want to
Right, right.
hear that. Coach, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me, bro?
Yep,
Loud and
yep.
clear. Go ahead and finish cooking, man.
All right, I switched devices. But anyway, like I said, when you in a predominant black environment, you got to deal with the niggonometry. You got to deal with, these students coming from like trauma filled environments. They lack effective communication skills, conflict resolution, those type of issues and those type of environments. And depending on what predominant black school you in, you got to deal with the ninjas trying to undercut you and backstab you, throw you under the bus. But for the most part, the last like real predominant black school I was at, it was a difficult environment to be in. But the faculty, we stuck together for the most part. It was administration and the fact that we was constantly changing administrators because the school was so bad. In those type of instances, the crap rolled down here for the most part. The people in the school board office, they really don't care. So the administration got to deal with the problems. And then administration got to deal with the issues when they blame the teachers for the poor performance of the students, which is ridiculous to me. But, and, of course, you don't have the type of funding you need from an athletic standpoint, or even from an academic standpoint, in those type of environments. However, when you go to the predominant white school, you got to deal with different set of circumstances from the perspective of basically you have, you're a black person. You might be one or only one or two, or maybe either you're the only black or you one or only a few blacks. And for the most part, you kind of feel like you're on an island. You really can't relate to the rest of the faculty and staff. And in addition to that, is a double standard from the perspective of if somebody white does something wrong, or it's whatever. However, if you're black and you do something wrong, they make a bigger deal of it than when a white person does it. And 7-8 made an excellent point because, you know, one of the last jobs I had, was at a predominant white school. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I kind of been through that situation before. I felt like my first job was at that type of environment, and I felt like, you know, I'm not saying I was like militant, but since I was like a pro-black type individual, and I wasn't to go along to get along, I felt like that was what kind of caused me to lose that particular job. Whereas, I was much more experienced at this point, older, and the issue I had was, they kept writing me up. And of course, I knew they was trying to create a paper trail. But the issue with me was, like, I didn't report everything to my union. And when push came to shove, when it was time for them to get rid of me, it was just kind of, they was able to just kind of do what they needed to do. So at the end of the day, I think in that particular scenario, like if you're in education, you're a teacher, you definitely get in the union for one. And then second of all, like, any issue you had, see, the reason I really didn't know how to handle it properly, even though I've been teaching for years, like I never had the type of issues that I had at this particular school. And for the most part, I was one of only a few blacks. And then not only that, it was like ridiculous double standard where I'm gonna just kind of give you an example. Like one of the only other like black person that was on the job that I really was cool with, he was saying that once Trump got elected or whatever, like a student came in the cafeteria and made a Nazi sign towards it. And he told administration and they just kind of brushed it off, you know what I'm saying? So it's like when you're in these type of environments, like it's a huge and ridiculous double standard, you know what I'm saying? So you definitely got to protect yourself. Like something they say, you got to have all your documentation, have all your ducks in a row because I don't care what job you're on. When they constantly write you up, that's all they're trying to do is start a paper trail. So once they try to terminate you or whatever the case may be, they just trying to get you out of there.
Exactly, and then you have to not only be leery of the bigots or the racists, but you also have to be leery of people that look like you that have gave up or have decided that the only way to survive in that type of atmosphere is to coon and sell other blacks out. Um,
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't mean to cut you off, bro,
no,
but
go
I'm gonna
ahead.
keep it real. Like that's another thing too. See, the first school I was at, I was literally like only one or two blacks. But the last situation that was similar, it was kind of like a handful of us. The and for the most part, we was kind of, except for me and the other guy was foreigner, like we was kind of all separated. And then you got certain black people when they in these environments, they kind of go along to get along. Whereas me, I kind of never been a go along to get along type of person. So I guess to these white people, I always seem like I'm a against the grain kind of guy, and that kind of rubs them the wrong way. So you got to do what you got to do, to make your money and to make a living and provide and take care of yourself and your family. But at the same token, I think you have to have a healthy balance of I got to actually do my job, but I'm not gonna shuck and jive and be a coon and a buffoon. That's why when I see people like Stephen A. Smith on television, don't get me wrong, I know you got to take care of yourself, you got bills, you got to take care of whatever you got to take care of. But from a financial standpoint, once you cross a certain threshold, man, dude, you shouldn't have to get on TV and be a coon and cut jigs every single day. It's like, come on, bro. At one point, can you actually look in the mirror and be like, hey, I'm proud of what I see? At a certain point, bro, you got to be like, nah, I already have enough money. I don't need to be a coon and a buffoon every single day on television.
Facts, man, and that's those type of black men or black women. That's the first thing they say. Well, I got to feed my family. Um, that's an excuse that they use. I got, and I've said this before on the Southern Baller Show where we was talking about drama in the workplace. Um, but I think it's appropriate to reintroduce the story. So basically, I had a homeboy. He was a supervisor at this job. He was trying to look out for this one older gentleman because this basically this lesbian girl was going to go to HR on him. Basically, she was trying to say he was basically talking bad about lesbians, made inappropriate comments, which wasn't really the case. So my homeboy tried to pull the older gentleman to the side and say, "Hey, man, don't tell anyone that I told you this. I'm just looking out for you. I'm kind of really putting my job on the line, actually, telling you this, but I don't want to see you blindsided about this. She's basically gonna go to HR on you regarding this information. So watch your back." My homeboy said it wasn't nothing but 10 minutes. He was at his cubicle and he looked up. Here come the older gentleman with the HR representative. As soon as he got to his cubicle, the old gentleman told him, "Hey, tell her what you told me." And then my homeboy had to act like, what are you talking about? He pretty much had to lie and say, pretty much had to act like he didn't know what he was talking about. And then my homeboy got out that situation, but later on he pulled the older gentleman to the side, like, "Man, what the f is wrong with you? I told you don't tell him what I was doing this. I told you that to look out for you."
Right.
You know what he said? "Man, I gotta do this to feed my family." Man, I said, bro, that MF is built like that.
Man, I would have never helped that nigga again.
Exactly.
Usually I say ninja, but in that instance, he not no ninja. He a nigga. Him.
Yeah, that's what he did. We was, man.
That's a nigga move right there.
That's ridiculous, man. But yeah, that's why you can't tell nobody nothing, man. You got, I mean, you try to look out for brothers, man, give them heads up and stuff like that, and then you see this type of information. People do that, they run back and tell. That's why, like I say, I always say, even in relationships, definitely, I never tell them to do nothing about this girl no more. Because first of all, you never know what kind of dude you're dealing with. You think somebody built a certain type of way, but most of these dudes, they'll get mad at you. They mad because you know something about their girl that they wanted to keep a secret or something like that. If you catch her cheating, or you find out she a scumbag, you tell this dude something. First thing he gonna do, if he ain't got a player bone in his body, first thing he gonna do is run tell her that you said it, instead of just saying, "Oh yeah, I heard you was such and such out here doing this and that." He gonna go and tell her, "Oh, Chris said it, Kevin said it." This just nonsense. Now she can flip the script and tell you some mess and make you not like me. Oh, he feel like that because he tried to talk to me. He tried, and then you gonna believe it because you a sucker. So yeah, I don't even tell people nothing no more, bro. You know what I mean? Let's be tight like that. I'm keeping information to myself, man.
You should, because you don't know what how people are built, man. You
Well,
think they
well,
solid, and they can keep stuff, but yeah,
well, I'm not gonna
they'll
lie.
tell
In
it.
in those type of situations, people are willfully ignorant. That's why to the point now, even whether it's students or players, family members or friends or whoever, like 7 Days said, unless I'm real tight with you, like I'm not gonna give you, no advice because a lot of times people don't want to hear it, especially like 7 Days said, like when they come to like their girl, because I know one of my partners, one of my best friends, one of his partners was messing with him, messing with his old lady was messing with another dude, and he was like, "Look, hey, bro, I'm telling you, bro, like as soon as you leave the house every day, like old boy coming through there. Of course, he didn't want to believe it. He said, "Look, bro," he said, "I ain't got no reason to lie to you." He said, "This is what you do. Like if you don't believe me, go to work one day and double back and pretend like you forgot something." And he said, "I guarantee you, you're gonna catch the dude in your crib." But the whole time, I think deep down he knew that the chick was doing something. So guess what? He was willfully ignorant. Ignorant. He never wanted to take my homeboy up on the proposition where he'd have been like, "Hey, pretend like you're going to work and double back." He never wanted to take him up on it. So at the end of the day, like he put himself in that situation. So even old boy at the job, man, hey, if he knew old boy was going to throw him under the bus like that, I would have never helped him. I don't care what the situation is.
Yeah, some dudes that whining ass song with Mario, I don't want to know. Describes a lot of dudes.
Yeah.
Describes a lot of dudes. Um, yeah, man. So, any of you brothers got anything else or a tip, another tip to help someone that's at their job, and the enemy is messing with them or trying to sabotage their means to live. Um, any other advice?
Like I said, I would just say, man, make sure you document everything and stay out the way, man. And I think too many, especially us, man, too many black folks go to work and start acting like this, like getting caught up in the politics. Just go up in there and do your job, mind your
Get too
business.
comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, get too comfortable and start acting like this is like these people your family or something like that, and worrying about this and that, and who dating who, and who acting funny, and all. Man, go up in there and do what you're supposed to be doing for 8 hours and go home. That's all you gotta do. You do that, and you should be fine. You know what I mean? But the problem is, even when you do that and you mind your business and just work, put your headphones on and work. White folks, some of them get uncomfortable with that. They want to see a nigga smile. Why you ain't smiling, boy? You look mad. You look mean. Why you? Like, what you mean? Look, I'm doing my job. Well, I mean, you can come on. I want to see a smile. Brighten up a little bit. If that's some of the most racist mess I've ever heard in my life. Somebody coming up to you telling you to smile. Smile.
Thank you. Thank you. I say I you know what I always knew that I had a lot of um not black, excuse me, a lot of white women do that to me in the workplace. Why don't you smile? You look so sad, and it always bothered me. You know what I mean? I knew it was come uh, some type of kind of racial undertone they were
Mm-hmm.
trying to say, but I didn't know how to approach it. So thank you for confirming that.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
It's a happy slate, yeah, Mr. Shelton. Yeah. And again, they and shout out to Mr. Shelton in the chat. Um, he just mentioned earlier he spent his holiday in the ER getting diagnosed with vertigo, just like my late grandma, my uncle, and dad. Well, we pray that you beat it, brother.
Yeah, man. Sorry to hear that, bro.
Yeah, definitely sorry to hear that, and salute to Sister Shawala Yah. She said again, they want to control us every aspect. Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Right. Well, I think we cooked on this topic. Let's move on. All right. uh, Dealing with misdirection agents in the black community. Um, you notice I have Charleston White and Candace Owens in the picture because I've noticed a lot of them have, both of them have black, a decent black following for some reason. Even Charleston White, like when he was um just cooning and he was saying after our history and everything, and talk just to sound like an old bitter ass nigga just talking shit basically. Um, but you see brothers in the comic section and just agreeing with this shit. Same thing with Candace Owens. Not saying everything they're saying is not true, but the devil will tell the truth. The devil will tell the truth. Um, how do we combat this, fellas? With our obviously these misdirection agents are getting a lot of black people are falling for it. Either they're ignorant or they just have a bone to pick with the black community, which they want to just hear some negative shit about the black community. So how do we combat this? General, you go.
Um, well, like I always say, man, I think social media has been one of the worst things historically to ever happen to black people. Because um, while it looks innocent on the outside, and on the inside, social media is just a cesspool of misinformation, and anybody can become famous for saying stupid stuff. Like it's very easy to go viral if you're willing to cut a jig. If you're willing to cut a jig, I mean, you black just come here and say anything to throw your people under the bus, and you're gonna get attention immediately. People gonna be so outraged that they share your video. You can't get nobody to share regular positive stuff. So as anything negative we share, we're addicted to it. Your cousin's gonna send it to you. It's gonna reach your mama. It's gonna reach your auntie. It's gonna reach everybody if it's negative or for something goofy. So that's what all these people is out here doing now, and they trying to stand out by cutting jigs and talking crazy about black folks, and that's what the internet's paying. Google AdSense is paying for that. Um, Other TikTok paying for it. Facebook paying for it. So that's they hustle. That's what these dudes hustle is, and it's also, in my opinion, a lot of zesty undercover race play going on. A lot of these dudes is stroking white folks' egos and um, belittling themselves, and it's like a weird little thing that they doing. I believe Candace Owens does that. I mean, she with a white man though. He keep popping her up, filling her up with baby. She just had another baby. So I mean, her Jason Whitlock. You can't tell me he. I think Jason Whitlock love white men. I think he's sexually attracted to white men. So with Jesse Lee Peterson as well. I think all of them come on to do that. Charleston White is just a idiot to me. You know what I'm saying? I think Charleston White believes the stuff he say, most of it, and I think that he a clown and everything that he. What's up, Acondo? What's up, everybody in the chat? I think Charleston White, everything he says, he does it for a reason. He does it for attention. This is an old dude that's my age who discovered the internet. He discovered that he can get paid and get attention online by acting a fool. So he try to act like he doing it for some righteous cause and like he trying to clean up the community, but you're not. Because if you're really trying to clean up the community and you're really against gangs and all this stuff, you wouldn't be using the same violence you preaching against. You threatening people with that same violence. You threatening people with guns. You daring people to do something to you. And how can't nobody do this to me and do that to me? I'll pull up on you. You're threatening people's kids, threatening people's mamas. That's not righteous, right? So we know what this dude is all about. You know what I mean? He's a con artist, and he discovered how to get paid online. That's all this is, man. And nothing more.
Okay, and salute to a condo in the chat. He says, Jared, General, my great brother and panel. I appreciate you, man, for coming in. Salute to 40-ounce sniper. Salute Jared and panel. Salute my brother,
Salute,
Aladdin, Saddam. Salute my brother.
salute.
Yeah, I can't stand none of them either, Shelton. But yeah, absolutely. You notice when we're not pushing the positive stuff, and I'm upset myself. I didn't get the information, but uh, a family member texted me a young black girl. She invented something, and I forgot what the invention is, but like she got an award for inventing something that was very important that we need in everyday life. This is like a young girl still in elementary school, bro. Young
Right.
young black sister, man. So little stuff like that. We need to push more stuff like that. We know we there's niggas out here ain't shit. We know there's sisters that out here ain't shit, but not all of us. So the ones that are trying to make our community better, um, as much as they can, we need to push the more positive stuff. So I definitely agree. Um, Coach 67 Sports TV. What's your opinion?
Honestly, bro, when it comes to like people like Charleston White is a coon and a buffoon. Like the general said, he tries to mask it as being some type of self-righteous type individual. However, you know, in many instances, people really think and act like they're righteous, but they're really not. His tactics are just beyond me. But at the end of the day, I think at the end of the day, he if he says 10 things and he says two things right, people won't point out the two things he said right. I mean, just think about it. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. But y'all, man, Charleston White dropping that knowledge. I'm like, nah, bro. As far as I'm concerned, when I look at him, this is a hustle. You understand what I'm saying? He said it himself. Like, he was just sitting around doing nothing, hating. Then he said he got online and he started hating, and he garnered a lot of attention from it, and he just kept doing it. I mean, just think about it. He done openly said he get 10 bands a week from just going places and just hating on other black people. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you so pro-black and you so this, you so that, you're always anti-black women, which I really can't stand, for one. But somebody like him is such a hustle for him. He realized that there's an audience for that. If you get online, you start bashing black women, a lot of black men will be like, yeah, man, you're right. Instead of saying, hey, our sister, this is what we need to do. We need to come together. We need to get on one accord. You know what I'm saying? In addition to that, the thing that just caused me to lose, just, I never really did have respect for him, like, to begin with. But once he started talking about Champ and saying, hey, I was so happy when that white boy beat that nigga. And I'm not to myself, bro. If you're supposed to be pro-black, why are you gonna rejoice in Tyson Fury cheating and try to end Deontay Wilder's life? Not just win a boxing match, no. Try to end this boy's life, you know what I'm saying? And you rejoicing in that? Man, I don't have no respect for that nigga. So when people send me stuff, I'm not lame, but don't send me nothing but no goddamn Charleston White. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to Candace Owens, she another one. She a coon and a buffoon too. And I mean, don't get me wrong, she another one. She makes some valid points when it comes to certain things. But again, a broken clock could be right twice. It's gonna be right twice a day. So I think the biggest
Yeah, the
issue.
devil can tell the truth sometimes.
Yeah,
A lot
yeah.
of times,
Well, I'm not
actually.
gonna lie. Well, the devil is the author of all lies. You know what I'm saying? So he gives you a little bit of truth. You got to put some truth in it, and so you can pervert it, and so you can twist it and turn it. So many instances when people, you know, say something, if there's some truth in it, like you have to tell the truth so you can tell the lies. You know what I'm saying? So the devil is the author of all lies. So for something to be believable, it has to have some some grain, at least some grain of truth in it. If there's no truth in it, then you could be it's easier to point out the lie. You know what I'm saying? But like 7 Days said on his Patreon, if y'all have not done so, please go check out his Patreon. The issue I got with like a lot of these black conservatives is they act like racism doesn't exist in America, especially if you black and you successful and you're a conservative. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a conservative individual by nature in terms of my thought pattern and my ideology. However, when it comes to, conservative, being conservative from a political standpoint, it's like these black Republicans, they act like, hey, you blame everything on racism, and we don't need we don't need this, we don't need that, we don't need reparations, and I'm like, what? Like, so y'all just not gonna acknowledge the racism that happens in this country. So look, I don't have to be, I mean, and that's the issue. Like on the right wing, you got issues, and on the left, it's no like real center. So somebody like Candace Owens, she another one, is like, it's like racism doesn't exist in her world because she's conservative and this, that, and the third, and she married to a white guy. She another one. And if you notice, both of these people in the picture, neither one of them have black significant others. So in my mind, you can't be you can't be super pro black if you parading around a non-black person. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like you say, bro, they definitely, misdirection aids in the black community. And I don't see how they going to following they got, especially Charleston White. I see this nigga is a buffoon, a coon, always cutting these jigs, cutting on the black community, cutting on rappers. So at the end of the day, bro, it's like, you talk about, these rappers destroying the community, the black community, this, that, and the third. Man, you ain't no better, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I definitely agree, man. And shout out to Kondo. He said this country was built off our blood and free labor. Yes, it was. And Shawala said we are all conservative truly as a people, not necessarily political. Yeah, that's correct. And that's why they hate us, righteous for the most part. Yes. And yes, y'all, if y'all coming in, your first time coming in, please hit the like button. And if you want to hear more conversations like this, please subscribe to my channel. We really appreciate it. Yeah. I'm gonna go a step further. I say, and don't get me wrong, I like some of the black content creators that Charleston White have been on, like the 85 South show and then them brothers and everything like that. But my thing is to stop or avoid the misdirection agents and stop giving them a platform. If they want to go over to white content creators, that's fine. But as black content creators, we need to be a filter. The ones who know what it is that they are misdirection agents trying to purposely misdirect a lot of the masses in the black community. There need to be more filters out here, like Shaw would say, air purifiers, because they may say a lot of truth, but it's detriment that you don't follow them or take all what they said as the truth.
I mean, just think about it, bro. Charleston White, he's on record saying he makes $10,000 a week, making different appearances and this, that, and the third.
Yeah,
so
it's all about the money.
Yeah, it's a hustle for him. That's what it is at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned,
Yeah. But General, before we move on, what you think? You agree with what I said? You think we need to just completely filter all these misdirection agents?
Yeah, we need to ignore them, man. The best way to handle them is when they say something goofy, don't let them out. Don't let them get you in the uproar and the outrage. Just ignore them. That's the best way. I know it's going to be hard to do because on social media, this is why it's going to be hard to ignore them, and it's because it's a hustle for everybody. Because when they say something stupid for the hustle to get attention, other content creators respond to what they said to get the trickle down attention. So everybody eating off of the buffoonery. See what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
so it's pretty much in this day and age, black folks, it's gonna keep getting worse and worse, man. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna keep getting worse and worse. We're gonna keep losing people to the other side. You know what I'm saying? To the Coonan, we're gonna keep losing them because it's a business now. Everybody getting paid. Charleston White might get paid $10,000 every time he says something dumb, and then the content creators can make the same amount of money in a month talking about him. You know what I'm saying? So that's like it's gonna be on spin cycle, man, constantly. But I would ignore them. To the best of your ability, I would ignore them and not even try not to even give them no shine, man. You know what I mean? And talk about something that's more positive, or talk about something that you care about that's going on in the society, versus constantly talking about this dude. Because like I was telling some of the brothers, like who get mad at these girls, like, dude, oh, these girls, they hate black men. They hate black men. It's like, bro, listen, if you keep sharing all this girl videos, or every time some girl say something stupid like, "Oh, any man who puts sprinkles on his ice cream is zesty," and then you share it because you mad, she already won. Because now she finna go viral. She finna go viral about that, and she only said it to go viral. See what I'm saying? She,
Right.
you know what I mean? She just messing with y'all, trying to get you irritated, go viral, and y'all gonna do the job for her. Y'all gonna share, y'all gonna get emotional and share all her stuff, but then you gonna share. This how you know you dealing with haters. Dudes act like they rock with you, but they won't never share your content. Right? Leave you
Mm.
nothing. They won't share your content, right? But then turn around and share everybody else's content with you. And that's, man, you get away from me, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a telltale sign they just using you as a vehicle to support they shit or they content, but they're not um giving back. So yeah, that's definitely a telltale sign.
Right.
Um, yeah, thank you, Shower Sister Shower. That the little girl I was talking about, the little girl Venner, she
Yeah.
made and created an air purifier and got 1.5 million for her idea, but it's worth more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but man, I seen that too, man. That's a lot. That's good stuff. Like, there's so many brilliant, black, excellent children out here doing stuff, man. Not getting no, it's not being brought to the light. You know what I'm saying? When something positive happened in our community, that's some stuff we all should do better at bringing that to the light. If we share it, if we make videos about it or something like that, man, and get it out there, because only thing to ever get really put out there is when something bad happens or somebody do something negative, and then we just scolding. And then you got these dumb ninjas running around here talking about black fatigue. Like, bro, if I hear another ninja say black fatigue, I'm gonna kick them in their mouth. Black fatigue? Shut up, dude. Who you dudes think y'all is? You think you white or something? Oh, I just got black. Shut up, bro. Like, these people don't like you. They never gonna like you. Y'all been buck dancing since forever, and they never will like you. Look at Candace Owens. She did all that buck dancing, and they fired her. They fired her. They demonetized her YouTube page. They still trying to get rid of Candace Owens now because she made the mistake of talking about them 24 karat people. Tucker, her and Tucker Carlson, they messing with. Now, Jason Whitlock, all that jig and Jason Whitlock was doing, he was on Fox, working for Fox, and they fired him. So I don't know what y'all dudes doing all this for. Like, you're not even getting no reward. Jesse Lee Peterson is not on TV. He ain't working for no company. Y'all dudes just be cutting jigs just to be cutting them, man. It's ridiculous.
And the thing about it is, we talk about pervert the truth. In all actuality, the term black fatigue was originated by black people. That when they talk about black fatigue, it was about all the systemic issues that we have as black people in this country. It's the fatigue of us, you know, have to constantly deal with the double standards and the white supremacy and all of the things that oppress us and hold us down. And white supremacy took that term and perverted it and use it in the opposite direction in terms of, hey, we tired of these dumb banana eating monkeys and these buck dancing coons and buffoons. They basically took it and they brought it in the opposite direction in terms of uh, other non-black people being tired of black people, like basically tired of ignorant niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just to give you an example, right? We couldn't do a show but a month ago because in our community we did a community cleanup day. Bro, I kid you not. 4 people, myself, my mom, and 2 other people in our community, out of out of the whole community, was only 4 people that showed up for the community cleanup day. But yet, I see people constantly pass, ride down the street, throw trash in the ditch. I'm like, man, bro, you see that? I say I love black people. I can't stand niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So black fatigue is basically white supremacy took that term and they perverted it and they use it to their own benefit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They always do that. They take the terms that we use and they think they know the definition of it, and they just use it for their narrative. So yeah, that's not a surprise. That's not a surprise at all. And salute to Dev Rev. Excuse me, Rev. He said good Saturday and salute to the panel. Appreciate you for coming by, brother. Um, Shawalaya said, we have a lot of geniuses among us. Yes, we do. They put us in the public food system to dumb us down, and we aren't challenged. Um, who invented everything truly useful on this earth and used the world over? Yeah, yeah. Uh, they do that with everything we say. Yeah, yep. Black fatigue, woke. The list goes on. Yes, sir. Um, like I got that reminded me when uh and uh y'all go y'all go to 78's new channel, the 304 show, with him and brother Blue Ray.
No 304 show.
No 304 show, thank you. The No 304 show. Um you had that white woman that hopped on the panel and she thought she knew what the word 304 was. Or the term 304 was, I should say, not a word. 304. Um and you asked her and she didn't know what it was, didn't
Oh,
know what it
simp. She
meant.
thought she didn't know what simp meant.
Yeah.
She kept yeah.
Yeah, simp. It was simp, not 304. Simp.
Uh-huh.
Well, she did use 304 and she was using that in context. But you asked her what was simp. What did the word simp mean and what the simp means? And she didn't know. So that's a
Right.
perfect example.
That's what they do. They come out and they hear terminology and they start repeating it. She kept calling me a simp because she said y'all simps over here. Y'all a bunch of simps. Y'all believe Diddy. Y'all some simps. I'm like, you know what simp is? What's a simp? Well, yeah, she kept ignoring because she didn't know what it was. She didn't know what simp was. You know what I mean? So they be a lot of people use these terminology and don't be knowing. They hear stuff on the streets and hear somebody say it in the video, and then they just think it's an insult, so they start using it and don't know what a simp is. Like you's an idiot. Check it. A simp is the opposite of a pimp. That's
Yeah.
all it is to it. You know what I mean? So
Simple ninjas idolizing mediocre pussy. That was
yeah.
simple.
All right.
All right.
Man, hey, and hold up. Let me cut it for a second. I'll keep it a buck. Man, that's still bunny one number the rock star anyway. I don't care what nobody says.
Okay, what you say, bro?
No, I said she came across as a straight rock star anyway. I don't care what nobody says. Either she on crystal meth or she on crack or she on
Oh
something.
yeah,
She came across a crackhead, a pure crackhead to me.
yeah,
So
she
that's
was.
why I really didn't pay her no mind,
Yeah, she was retired 304. You know, man, you could tell she was out there in the streets, probably on drugs, and she was probably selling her body and stuff like that. And I mean, of course, she probably ended up in the hands of some pimping at one point in time, and now she want to be the all time victim. And that's why a lot of them they hate Diddy and stuff like that because a lot of them have. Made a lot of mistakes in their life, and they don't want to take responsibility for those mistakes they made.
Mm-hmm.
They want somebody to blame, so they blame the man, and they say stuff like, "Oh well, But I told you I had a girl literally tell me one time. She begged me. This girl begged me for a threesome. She wanted to experiment with another chick, right? So I said, okay. She been asking for a while, so I was like, okay, well let's do that. So we in the hotel, and I called one of my homegirls over who I know get down. So I let her explore. She explored this other chick. They getting down, getting busy, whatever. And then when the alcohol wore off, this chick started crying, talking about some. How could you let me do that? How could you let me do that? I said, do what? That threesome. I don't even like girls like that. Like she was like insinuating I took advantage of it. Bro, I told her, I told her right there, I said, let me tell you something. I don't know who you think you playing with, but if you try that shit with me, they will never find you. Get the fuck out of my face. And I don't care how nobody feel about it. I told her that. Don't play with me like that. Don't you ever try to say I did something to you. Like when you sit here and ask me for something, but now it ain't your fault because you now you feel like now you had time to process and think about it. It wasn't as good as you wanted it to be in your fantasy. So now, oh well, he made me do it. Man, get up out of here. Ain't nobody got time for that mess.
That's
Yeah,
right.
but that's what it was. She can relate to Cassie because basically she's been Cassie. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy how in this country, women can consent to something and then turn around, things didn't go the way they wanted to go. And now guess what? I no longer consent after the fact. It's like, man, how could you make something up? If I'm a man and I go get a chick pregnant, and then I turn around and be like, after the fact, you know what? I renege my consent. She great. Man, ain't nobody gonna go for that. But that's just some of the double standards we live through in this country as men. Especially black men.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Salute to J Bar. Buyer's remorse. Yeah, for real. Uh, my brother, David Scott the third. I ain't seen you in a while, brother. Good to see
What's
you
up,
still
bro?
around, man.
Man, salute
Salute
to
to
you,
Gerald
man.
11 Green.
What's up?
Deacon Dollars, the same way they hijacked the term woke. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And the last topic of the show, fellas, so we get out of here, man. Um, what can black men learn from the Diddy case? And any of you brothers and sisters in the comment section want to put your answer in the chat, you definitely can. But going with you, 78. What can Black men learn from the Diddy case?
Um, what you can learn, I think, some of the most important things is that when choosing the women you deal with, choosing them wisely is more important now than ever. All right, because even if like Diddy, he just like he a freak, so he wants to. He don't really want no main woman. This like if you like watching your woman have sex with other people, then that's not the woman that you want to be with for the rest of your life. That's your sex partner. That's your friend. That's your freak off buddy, right? So Diddy's looking for freak off partners, right? And I understand a lot of brothers play the field, and you want to mess with this one, and have this one on the side, and mess with that one, and mess with all that stuff is cool. But check it out. Um, Women are very powerful right now, right? This is one of the first times in history you've seen a swinging of the pendulum, where women are very powerful right now. Their word means a lot. So uh, the accusations, just the accusation, um, can slander you and cost you millions. Jay Z lost just off a lie from some white girl who nobody's ever seen before. Literally just said that Jay Z and Diddy raped her when she was 13. That's all she said, right? It's a complete lie. Jay Z had to get an attorney, threaten these people. They dropped the case. Jay Z lost over $100 million that quick just from an accusation, bro. Right? Just from accusation. Diddy has lost
Man,
hundreds of millions, okay, from the accusations against him. What happens is somebody found out Diddy a freak, and then they blackmail you. They try to use your freakiness against you. Oh, I'm gonna tell people this. I'm gonna tell people that. Of course, don't nobody want their business out there. That's what happened with Shannon Sharp, right? Shannon Sharp into race play with these chicks, which is ridiculous. That's his business though. So now what I would say you learn from this is, what's up, Joe Thompson? What I would say you learn from this is Choose your women wisely. Do your best to keep your business to yourself, and also make sure you're not doing nothing in the bedroom that you would be humiliated or ruined if other people found out. That's some advice I would give to you, because this is why I'm so open and honest about certain stuff, because you can't expose me about nothing. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you say. You can't. I can't get embarrassed about stuff like that, because I don't do nothing that I'm embarrassed of. You know what I'm saying? If you got to do something behind the scenes that you embarrassed of, or you feel like you should be doing, don't do it. Because one day it's gonna come out, or it might come out, and then what you gotta do, run around hiding your face, all of that. You also, I would say this, can learn from this, is that this country is still very racist, extremely racist. Black men are always going to be demonized and vilified in this country. It was a time where it started to be shunned. When black people was on our job, it started to be like it was taboo to just like try to just come after black folks, because we knew exactly what it was. It was racist, and the media didn't want to look racist and stuff like that and all that kind of stuff, so they stopped. But with the rise of zesty behavior, um, and like the brother said, they stole the word woke and all that. I'm gonna tell you who stole the word. It was the zesties. All right, the zesty. Every time black folks had any type of movement going on, and any type of protest, the zesties came in and joined us, and then we was happy to have the zesties or anybody on our team to support us. But then they hijacked the movement and stole our words like woke and all this type of stuff, and then they flipped and turned on us. Start saying that black men is the most homophobic people in the world, right? Then they start coming after our black celebrities, like Kevin Hart. Told him he couldn't host the Oscars because 10 years ago he made a gay joke about his son, just a joke. They try to come after Dave Chappelle. He stood his ground and said, "I don't care what y'all do," right? These people who's supposed to be liberals, right? Supposed to be for the left. These people came out and all they did was attack black people, right? Um, and they still doing that, right? So this country is very racist. They always gonna need a black villain, and uh, you see this Diddy stuff. All he did was stump on the 304. Yeah, it was bad. Nobody's justifying him putting hands on no chick. Nobody. That's all. But the thing is, he did what he did. He's a he's a dope fiend. And he acted like a dope fiend. That's what dope fiends do. He pop pills. He get drunk. Her and him popping pills. It ain't no different from seeing two dope fiends at the gas station fighting. That's what they do, and then they be back together. Okay, so that happened, right? But you can't take, just because he beat the girl up and you think that's despicable. You can't turn around and say, well, I don't care what they do to him, that he's guilty of anything. No, that's not how this works. That's not how it works. If I get, that's like saying, see, this is my problem with anybody who believes that. Just because he beat the girl up, you say forget him. They should, no. If you condone them lying on this black man, if you condone these people just charging you with anything because you think he a bad guy, well, guess what? They've been doing that to us for years. How many brothers you know that was driving and had the police plant some dope on them, or police lie on them? I know plenty of them. Then lost their lives, lost their jobs, been inconvenienced because the police lied on them, right? Now, the people who think like this is people who ain't never been in trouble before. You ain't never had the police lie. You ain't never sat in the courtroom thinking about losing your whole family. See what I'm saying? These is straight squares who ain't never been through nothing. Y'all are the ones who trying to condone what they doing to Diddy. Anybody who ever been through some stuff, you don't want to see no brother in prison. That is one of the worst places to be. Okay, it's like slavery almost. Okay, but anyway, you can learn from that, because this country is always gonna need a black villain. And what they successfully did was, everybody got more smoke for Diddy than they do for Epstein. CNN barely talked about Epstein. That Epstein allegedly offed himself, and we know they offed him. Okay, the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, just came out a couple weeks ago and said that Donald Trump is on the Epstein list, and that's why the list ain't been released. That should be round the clock news. Every YouTube channel who talking about this Diddy stuff should be talking about that all the time. That's like how often do you get juicy stories like that? But don't nobody want to talk about that. You know why? Because you ain't gonna get the same views when you talking about bad about a black man. That's why don't nobody want to talk about it.
I'm surprised, General, that Vince McMahon's still working.
Yeah, Vince McMahon knew all this filthy stuff Vince McMahon did. Right? That's been pushed under the rug. Because ninjas don't have the same energy for white folks that they do for Diddy or for anybody else. They trying to make Diddy the leader of the Illuminati. They trying to make Diddy the king of sexual deviancy and stuff like this. Right? This is what they've been doing. They lied about R. Kelly. Yeah, R. Kelly was messing with young girls. For sure he was. Right? But then charge him with that and leave it alone. They keep trying to make racketeering and trafficking and kidnap and all this stupid stuff. Like, bro, come on, just charge it, man, with messing with a minor. Get it over with. Why y'all got to lie? Why y'all got to put all this extra stuff on it? You see what I'm saying? Bill Cosby. They lied about Bill Cosby. They told the man if he admit to giving the girl some Quaaludes or whatever, that they won't use it against him, and they used it against him. That's why they had to release him, because they lied. Right? Like, bro, please, man. I done seen Quaaludes. You can't sneak no Quaalude to somebody. Quaaludes as big as a big old pills like a fish oil tablet. You should see the big old fish oil tablet. Quaaludes like that, but harder, but hard. That size. You can't crush that up and put it in nobody's drink without them tasting it. Them girls took them things to party. Just like girls take a shot, just like Diddy and them girls was popping pills. People pop pills.
That's fact, 78. I heard it from an old head who was in that club scene in the 70s and the 80s. He said that himself. And if they want to be honest, a lot of men and women during them days need to be in the same situation that Bill is. We took it to party, and the girls knew what they were doing. Mm-hmm. Everybody knew what they were doing. They wear the Coke spoons around their neck, and just party. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That's exactly it, man. So yeah, I mean, in my opinion, yeah, man. Just to close out, I think just learning. We can learn a lot from this. This country is racist. You will, as a black man, be treated differently than anybody else. Diddy is being treated unfairly. People don't want to acknowledge that because they're mad because he beat up this girl. But like I said, I don't feel sorry for Cassie, not one bit, because Cassie was a willing participant in Diddy's lifestyle. She was a willing participant. She could have left right then and there. That wasn't his first time beating her up. She stayed. Why she stayed? She wasn't forced to stay. He never kidnapped her. She went off and she married a whole nother guy. So it wasn't like she couldn't get away from him. She married another guy and then she went back and sneak off and have sex with Diddy. You know what I'm saying? So it was something that Diddy was doing to her that she liked. She liked his violence and his rage. She liked his nastiness and all this type of stuff. All right? And she found her rest haven with her husband and all that kind of stuff. But you're going to be treated differently as a black man. You just are. You know what I'm saying? If you're black in general, you're going to be treated differently for doing the same stuff, right? Nobody cares. Look, ain't nobody even talking about Garth Brooks, right? This girl done said Garth Brooks then raped her. He did all this stuff. And you ain't, these monkeys on YouTube ain't even talking about it. They don't care. But everybody's disgusted with Diddy. They tried to destroy Jay-Z with lies. You know what I'm saying? And this is what they're going to do. But if you black, you got some money, they're going to try to take everything you got, bro. And black folks going to help them do it now. Black folks are going to be the ones, and they're going to justify doing it. But in reality, they're doing it because Google is paying them. That's period, bro. Back in the day, COINTELPRO, the government used to pay people to infiltrate these black organizations to help destroy them. They paid them. Now, Google is paying them, paying these dudes to destroy other black folks. Talk bad about them. Keep it. You can't, man. You do a video right now about Garth Brooks, I might get 200 views, maybe 3. You know what I'm saying? Do a video about Diddy, it's gonna pop. That's what. Because black folks is conditioned monkeys now. You know what I'm saying? The algorithm is racist. The YouTube algorithm racist. Facebook algorithm racist. This is literally a racist algorithm that they program to be racist. Right? You get rewarded for talking crazy about black people, and it's paying good. And these dudes have sold their soul, and they know what they doing. Ain't no ifs ands buts about it. They cooning.
Facts, man. That's no lies told there. And salute to David Scott the third. He said Abercrombie and Fitch is being charged with sex trafficking, but Diddy is the one in the media. Facts.
Mm-hmm.
And who did I miss? Salute to Jonathan Thompson in the building. Salute, brother, for coming in. 86 Go said, you ain't even know he was on trial till Ply said something. Yeah, that's what we do to each other. F thing, yeah. Shaolin Yah said, been knowing that Fool was on the list and many more, they don't want to talk about anything these demons do. Facts.
Yeah.
And salute to Aaron Butler, 262. Salute, brother. Thank you for coming in, man.
Salute.
Wrapping it up with Coach, but what's your opinion? What can black men learn from the Diddy case?
Well, I mean, a lot of stuff that I'm gonna say, the general already pointed out. First and foremost, in terms of double standard, bro, we've done shows talking about, Vince McMahon and Vitaly Klitschko, and we only get like 20 views. Another ninja talk about Diddy and get 20K views. So it's like the double standard is ridiculous. Like we talk about, Garth Brooks and Hugh Hefner and James Dolan and Vince McMahon and Abercrombie and Fitch. We can just go on and on and on and on. The ridiculous double standard when it comes to this. Elvis Presley, come on, man. Elvis Presley and R. Kelly. The double standard is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? That's first of all. Second of all, this whole mantra of believe all women. Man, hey, in 2025, if you believe all women, and that's another thing too, a lot of these women, no matter who they are, what their track record is, whatever the case may be, they get the benefit of the doubt. And in all actuality, a lot of these women, you really can't give them the benefit of the doubt, especially in Cassie's situation. Like, the general was saying, she was a willing participant. She got greatly compensated. And then even after everything, after the smoke is cleared, she was like, hey, did it pose a danger to her? And they denied this man, denied this man bail. It's like, come on, bro. You denied him bond and you denied him bail after the fact? Come on, man. Like, come on. I mean, if that's the case, guess what? Why not just keep him in jail for 30 years if we just going to listen to Cassie? So at the end of the day, this whole believe all women mantra, man, you can't believe that because every woman isn't worth believing. Not only that, another thing that the general said that's very accurate, men within the sound of my voice. One of the most important decisions you're going to make in your life is the women you decide to spend your time with, live with intimately, whether it's your wife, whether it's your baby mama, whoever the case may be, anything you're going to have a lifetime attachment to, whether it's a wife, who you're going to marry, baby mama, whatever the case may be. You have to make those decisions cautiously and wisely. You can't just, if a woman tells you, hey, I'm traditional and I cook and I clean and I'm going to be intimate with you as often as you need. Hey, that might sound good initially, but you have to thoroughly vet that individual. You have to make certain that you are with the right person, because marrying the wrong woman, having a baby by the wrong woman, it could literally, not figuratively, no, it could literally ruin your life. And not only that, but one other thing too that we point out often is like them overcharging black men and undercharging white people. I'm gonna give you a classic example, right? One of the areas close to where I live, I worked in the school district. One of the guys that live right around the corner from me, he, in fact, you and I talked about this story behind the scenes, bro. And he recently
Right.
ran in his recent election, he ran for the chief of police. But his first His first job as a police officer was in one of these school districts that I worked in, right? So he was a police officer there. And it was a white, it was a white a white guy and this prominent white family in this area. So he's a police officer on duty. This white guy took his vehicle and ran his brother over. It's a black man that lives in my community right around the corner from me. He ran for chief of police, but he didn't win the election. So the white guy ran over him and hit him with his vehicle, right? This man was in a hospital for a long time. He had to have his C5 and C6 vertebrae fused together. I mean, I don't know what it is or whatever. So on a Friday, this white guy that's in his prominent family in that area, they charged this white guy with attempted murder on a law enforcement officer. That Monday, they reduced the charge from attempted murder on a law enforcement officer to, I think, like reckless battery or some nonsense. So essentially, it was a charge that carried 20 years to life, and they reduced it to like a misdemeanor type charge that was the max like 11 months, some bull crap. I'm like, bro, he ran over this guy with a vehicle. How in the hell they charge him with basically battery? You know what I'm saying? And then not only that, but they didn't raise no GoFundMe's, no, they didn't take up donations. Not one officer that was on the police force with this guy that lives around the corner from my house. Not one person visited him. They didn't raise no money for him. They didn't have no candlelight vigils, no none of that. And I'm thinking to myself, bro, this is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So, just to know the country we live in, George Zimmerman could do what he did and get off scot-free. But on the flip side, you look at the Carmelo Anthony situation, they're charging this 17-year-old boy who's basically defending himself. They're charging him in as an adult, and they're trying to basically, charge him with second-degree murder. So at the end of the day, it highlights the country that we live in, the ridiculous double standard, how one person black people have one standard and white people have a much lower standard. And lastly, the thing I'm going to point out, you got, I remember when I was in high school and they had the OJ trial, and when OJ Simpson was found out not guilty. I'm not going to lie, we knew OJ was he was a Uncle Tom. We knew this. But the same system over the years that had black people were innocent and they were found guilty or vice versa. We knew this white person or these white people hung this black person and this white person got off. That same system that worked against black people for so many years, it worked in our favor, even though OJ probably wasn't worthy of that. But he got off and we rejoiced in it. The high school I went to, you could eat in a cafeteria or you could get your to-go plate, right? So we had half a day of school that day. They took the to-go plates, and when they read not guilty, of course, the white people were mad, black people rejoicing. In the gym, they were throwing oranges because black people was rejoicing and celebrating. So the next day at school, over the PA system, they was like, hey, if we have any like more outbursts like that, we're not gonna have like to-go lunches. Everybody gonna have to sit and eat in the cafeteria. And if the bell ring, y'all late for class, either you're gonna have to finish up your lunch or you don't get a chance to eat. Hey, we can't have this and woo. In 2025, basically when they announced that Diddy was not guilty, man, black people was not. I mean, they were like upset and aggravated. They wasn't rejoicing like when OJ was acquitted. Like niggas was literally upset and aggravated and agitated. And I'm thinking to myself, y'all stupid. Because if they found that man guilty, it was gonna be open season on black men when it came to accusing them of, sexual deviancy or sexual misconduct or whatever. And it's still probably gonna be open season on black men. And for y'all to be upset that they found him not guilty, man, it's crazy across all social media platforms, the amount of black people outside was like legitimately upset. Like there was this content creator that I follow. She's a multi-millionaire. She has a business and she kind of does like embroidery in terms of like T-shirts and Yeti cups and mugs and this, that, and the third. And basically, she was on her platform, and she was just so agitated that Diddy was found not guilty of these major charges. And then to myself, bro, I used to rock with this chick. She used to give such good business advice. Man, I can't rock with her no more. I unsubscribed to her channel because the fact that you're a black woman in America, and they tried to, not tried to, they overcharged this black man, and they tried to take away his life and his wealth. And for you to just be upset, to me, it seems like she identified more with being a woman than she did with being a black person. So I got to the point, man, I wouldn't even lie. When I saw this from her, I unsubscribed to her channel. I'm not gonna name her name, but it's like, bro, it's like black people legitimately upset that this dude was found not guilty. You know what I'm saying?
Because a lot of people are putting themselves in the positions of the individuals, and they don't need to be. They don't need to, because Cassie wasn't a good person. Diddy wasn't a good person, and we want Diddy to be innocent, not because we rock with the dude. I don't like Diddy, but we know something bigger that can affect all of us as black men. Um, Going back to what 78 and you were talking about, Coach. If Vince McMahon walking around after he did worse than what they claiming Diddy did,
Far worse,
then what y'all think gonna happen?
I mean, he defecated on his female. Come on, bro. Like, and nobody's talking about that.
Nobody's talking about it.
Bro, we talked about that multiple times on the Southern Baller Show. Man, one show we did, we talked about Vince McMahon. Bro, we got 20 effing views. Same ninja, another ninja the same day, talked about, like, made a bunch of allegations and lies about Diddy. This same ninja got 20K views. And you wonder why, like, your channel should be where this ninja at, and he should be where you, and vice versa. But man, it's like the general said, you know, all these social media platforms, you know, they promote negativity, especially when it comes against black people. And bro, like it's sad, and it's sad how black people in 2025 selling their souls and selling out their race for AdSense revenue and subscriber counts and all. Man, it's sad, bro. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, man, it is sad, man, and it is what it is. I'm about, and yeah, if y'all like what y'all hearing, please like and subscribe. I appreciate all y'all, but I'm not tripping about it because I know God got a plan for me. And I'm taking my time, man, and so yeah, man, this was definitely a good conversation. I thank all of you for coming in. Was able to, you know, just come in and check us out, see what we're talking about. Before I wrap everything up, do y'all have anything extra y'all want to add?
No, sir. No, sir.
All right. Yeah, we cooked on it, man. And salute to Big Red, host of Big Boy Talk. Man, appreciate you, brother. Coach Hudson, my brother.
Salute.
Both of these channels are good content, good brothers. Y'all go support. Same thing with Shawala Yah, 86 Ghosts. Y'all support these brothers and sisters, and of course everybody in the LDBC. Please support everyone. But 78, the general, let everybody know where they can meet you and see you.
Man, right here on YouTube, it's 78 Sports TV. Also, we have conversations like this on my other channel, No 304 Show, right here on YouTube. Just got that channel monetized too. I had to wait for extra long
Congrats,
because
brother. Much needed.
yes, sir. Thank you. It took a while because we got a strike early. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to apply for monetization while I had a strike, so I just waited till that strike cleared up and then we applied. So everything's everything now. You can also find me on Patreon, 78 Sports TV.
That's good stuff on that Patreon, y'all. That's good stuff, man.
Appreciate
Y'all,
it.
please support. Coast 67 Sports TV. Let everybody know where they can meet you and see you.
Well, you can see me here on this channel tomorrow at Sunday, tomorrow, which is Sunday, 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Southern Baller Show with the Southern Baller Show Collective. My brother Jerry Levin Green, JB, and whatever other brothers that's in the Southern Baller Show Collective that
Brett
joined the
Fox, Joe
channel.
Townsend.
Yeah, so catch me occasionally, Jay Good. So you can catch me here tomorrow on this channel, 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Times, Southern Baller Show. Outside of that, you can catch me at Coach 67 Sports TV on all social media platforms. However, I'm primarily here on YouTube at Coach 67 Sports TV. On my particular channel, I talk about a little bit of boxing. I talk about sports across the board. However, primarily, I'm a HBCU content graphic, a proud graduate of Southern University. I primarily talk about Southern University football. So you can catch me here on YouTube, Coach 67 Sports TV. Man, I appreciate y'all, supporting my brother's channel. Like he said, we taking it one step at a time. We growing our platform. And we appreciate everybody coming through the rock with us, all the family, the community we've built, and especially the LDBC.
Yes, sir. Shout out to the mighty LDBC.
Yes, sir.
And this was another installment of the Black Man's Perspective. Y'all be blessed.
Peace.
Peace and blessings.